Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. Real life.
If it ain't real life, just say real life street stars. You know what time it is.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period. You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with the baby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shay. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyonce presented herself to him. And she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was and he couldn't believe she was talking to him. But she approached him. Kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?"
Damn.
My. How illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. Why does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. It does not matter how much money they spend, how many people, those tickets ain't gonna sell. And I'm gonna tell you why they not gonna sell. Because God said no. Period. God said no. Y'all need to start trying. There is no turning back. You're caught. I wish you had the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdos with his little orange purse, screwing people's kids, screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shame on you. You a dirty old man. Period. Of course, it's a shakedown. What it is a setup to find a way to get Tony Busby out of the Diddy game right before the trial. NFL, Jay-Z, Shannon Sharpe, all in the same bed. Are they not?
Hey, hey. So, Jag, the problem of the age is one problem. I want to move over to the girls'
It's
race.
not a problem. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, just disgusting. I mean, she's legal, but it's kind of wild. But
Barely.
people are
But
people are
I'm just
looking at.
trying to figure out, how does a man with that much money, how does a man with that much access need to go to OnlyFans to get some tail?
Was that his problem that OnlyFans seemed like a one and done situation. It seemed like he kept the relationship open.
Once again, that little girl has assigned herself to be a whore. And that's who that's who you clienteling with? As a grown ass man, you should be telling her that there's more for her to do with her life than peddling her booty on OnlyFans.
25K a cheat.
And you paid it? You that hard up that you got paid little kids? Tell you a real story. My mother's stepfather, the man who unalived my grandmother. I never met my grandma. She was unalived on my uncle's 6th birthday during the birthday party. Mac, unalived the mother of his children and the mother of someone else's children right in front of her kids. He only did 7 years for that. Destroyed my mother's family and destroyed every last one of them. You know, they used to make me go over there, even though he had touched all over everybody, forced himself in ways that an adult should never force their way on young people. He done all of those things. They knew it. He took my grandmother's life. And they would still send me over there to go get money from him and stuff so he could pay, I guess, some kind of ghetto reparations. But he would still try to hit on all of us when we would come over there. I never understood why they would send us there. Just go get the money and get whatever he got. We need it. The very man who took my grandmother's life. And I look like my grandma. And I'll never forget when I seen the girl that I went to school with, because his apartment was right across the street from my high school, William Penn, Broad and Gerard. And that's why they would make me go, because I was right there, right? I went to school there. But when I seen the girl who was in the grade above me coming from his place, putting those $100 bills in her pocket. She was 15 and a half, going on 16 years old. He was in his 70s, and he was hiring her to come and give him blowies. And I knew who that girl was. And her mama was on crack. She, her and her brothers and sisters didn't eat a lot. I'm talking about a 15 and a half, 16-year-old girl going to service this old man who was every kind of pervert and every kind of thing that is wrong in the eyes of God. And she did that to get that money to help feed her and her siblings because her mama was on crack. And I went to school with her. How was the Shannon Sharpe thing any different than what I just told you?
Man, that's real. Wow.
How was that any different? How was he any different than my pervert, dead step grandfather who took my grandmother's life and assaulted everyone in the family and even tried us? The grandchildren of the woman he unalived. How's
Jag,
he
just
any different
curious,
just from me?
what ended up happening to him?
Mac,
Yeah, Matt.
he went to jail for 7 years and then came out and left the rest of my aunts and them to grow up in the system after they had been abused and all of that stuff. My father did the eulogy at his funeral because they couldn't find a minister that would touch him. And then the family got mad at my dad because my dad sat there and told the truth about that man with his dead body present. And the only reason I went to the burial was so I could piss on his grave. That's what happened to Mac. He lived a semi-long life, and he continued to keep abusing young people while my aunts knew he was doing it and did nothing to stop it.
It's like there's several Macs in the black families around the world. How come Mac never gets punished like this? What do you why do you think that is? No one's ever punishing a Mac. He just ends up dying of old age.
He still got to answer to God. They all still got to answer to God. And I can't wait. I hope when the fire hit Mac, it burns his genitals first. I hope it just goes right to the place of harm first. Those are all facts. Shannon Sharpe is no different than Homer McClendon Sr., who they call Daddy Mac. May he forever rot in hell.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.